Welcome back into Sports Drive Live. Once again, I'm your host, Preston Moore. Next, we're going to talk some cross country, high school cross country season in swing. Getting ready for district. Joining me to talk about that is Randall High School head boys cross country coach Tim McCune and Marty Fletcher. Tell me a little bit about this season so far. How you guys have been gearing up for district? Obviously, you mentioned to me a few times before the show, hoping for state title, aspirations. Obviously.
Yeah, every year we start out the season and it's a grind. In cross country, just getting in shape and going to some hard courses and really running, putting in the miles and take care of business. So right now, the guys are kind of running dead-legged, and they have been all season long, but now that we're getting closer to district, we start, letting them get freshened up, and then hopefully on the regionals and then hopefully on the state.
How do you, as a coach, how do you, get your students back into the swing of things with cross country? Obviously, it's a very physically demanding sport.
Yeah, so we start way back in the summer, start in June, just putting in the miles and just really working our body into cardio shape, and then as the school year starts, then we start working in speed with the miles and kind of getting everything balanced out. And then, as you get further in the year, you start getting faster, you start getting in better shape, and then once you finally get your legs fresh and you feel like you're, rested and everything, you start hitting some really fast times.
Yeah, absolutely. Marty, I want to talk to you a little bit. I want to know, how do you feel right now at this point in the season about, your performance? You're hoping for some winning meets, obviously.
I feel pretty good. I'm still running dead-legged, but overall I feel pretty strong. As I'm going through it, I'm getting less sore and cutting off on the workouts a little bit, and I'm feeling really good.
From your perspective as an athlete, how do you go about those first few days whenever you get started, you feel real sore, how do you get over that hump to where you can get into a more consistent rhythm?
You really just got to hold on, honestly. Lots of ice baths, so you got to start eating better. You can't just eat whatever you want, you got to eat really healthy.
Coach, is there, as far as nutrition goes, how important is that for you and your program?
It's important for anything. The main things is obviously, you eat right, but, you got to pump the fluids, water, Gatorade, Pedialyte, because, we run in 100-degree heat, and, here lately we get what we think is going to be cold weather, and then a heat wave comes through, and you never know. And we go to a lot of meets where it's real humid, so that we get challenged to where, we know what it's like when we get to stay down in Round Rock when it's humid and hot down there.
Absolutely. Marty, when it comes to running in that heat, obviously anybody in the Texas Panhandle knows that the weather can be a little demanding here, especially, over the course of the summer. And you mentioned you guys starting out in June. Obviously now we've had, some moments where we're hoping for some colder weather. Back at the station, I told Doppler Dave, I was like, hey man, we gotta get it colder here. It's too hot out here right now. I don't know if he listened to me yet, but that being said, when it comes to your perspective again, Marty, when you do have to compete in that heat, when you do have to train in that heat, do you think it's a benefit in a way? Obviously, it's not more fun to run around in the heat like that, but do you think it's a benefit to condition your body like that?
I think it definitely does, because that way you know what it feels like to run in that heat, and when it gets cooler, you're more up to it. You feel better running in the cold. That way you're not just used to that. How
do you combat the heat as an athlete? What do you do?
I just have to drink a lot of water. That's what I do. And then I have a wet towel that I run with a lot, because other than that, I'll pass out. It gets so hot.
Yeah. Coach, obviously gearing up for district right now, what sort of, what do you think is something that's been, priority for you and your team leading into district, something that you're, working on teaching them a little bit?
The main thing is, we got Canyon boys that are always good. Dumas boys are really good this year, and so we're just trying to hold on to those guys. We know if we could stay close to those guys, we're right there in the mix. Because, they're going to help lead the way. They got some really good front runners, and their guys, Canyon's guys know our guys really well, and Dumas is starting to know us really well. So it's almost like they're friends trying to help each other out.
Yeah.
So as long as we can stay on Dumas and Canyon, we're right there in the mix. And our district is probably one of the toughest districts in the state of Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. Canyon ranked near the top, if not at the top of the state, pretty consistently. When it comes to having that sort of competition in your district, how do you prepare your kids for, knowing that they're going to be going up against some of the premier programs in the state of Texas?
Well, it's just like any other sport. When your district's that tough, everybody's got to be on their A game at the district meet, because you get one shot, and you don't want to lose that chance. But you also don't want to kill yourself to where, you know, you burn out early. You just got to stay on them and let them pull you through, because I really think whoever the 3 teams are in our district that make it out, it's got a great shot at making it to state. All 3 teams.
When you start the season and you do have that goal of state, what does it take, you know, from you to go about, I guess, instilling that goal as not just a goal, but something that you can achieve, you know, instilling that belief in your team?
Well, I mean, it's hard with the younger guys and the new guys, because they, you know, a lot of guys want instant results overnight. Sometimes, like, hey, I need to get in shape quick. Like, it's a process, and it's a long process. And, you know, yes, I want to do good early on, but I also want to do good later on and not peak at the wrong time. So just teaching them, you know, hey, trust your training, trust your process, take your time, be patient. Things are going to happen. Just keep working out, and everything's going to fall into place.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for joining the show. Appreciate you coming out here to X-Bar Steakhouse. Coach Tim McCune, Marty Fletcher from Randall Boys Track Cross Country, thank you once again for joining the show. Really appreciate it. All right, we will be right back with more Sports Drive after this break. Stick around.